Good morning, students. I welcome you in part 2 of the poem The Darkling Thrush by Thomas Hardy. Today, we will be doing this poem in detail, and I'll be taking the first 2 stanzas in this part 2. So I begin with the poem. I leant upon a coppice gate when frost was spectre grey and winter's dregs made desolate the weakening eye of day. The tangled vine stems scored the sky like strings of broken lyres, and all mankind that haunted nigh had sought their household fires. This is the first paragraph. Here the poet paints a somber picture. Somber means a dull, gloomy picture of the world, and this time is taken as the last hours of the 19th century, the ending of the 19th century. And while these lines are spoken, the speaker is leaning on a gate, and this gate opens onto the woods. The mood here feels lonely and meditative. The speaker is watching as a silent bystander. Bystander means a passerby leaning upon the coppice gate. Coppice is wooden gate, and that gate opens towards the woods or onto the woods. Now here the gateway or the gate suggests of a new place and a new century, and the act of leaning on the gate refers to the tired and dejected attitude of the speaker. The speaker is outside on a barren landscape. It is wintry, frosty evening. It's all white, dull, dark evening. Somewhat the time of twilight, dusk, when the sun is setting and the night is about to approach. And you see, the poet has used or has personified winter and frost here. Personified means given human characteristics. He says frost is described as spectre grey. Spectre grey means it is like a ghost or a haunted landscape, all dead, silent, and it seems that there is no life at all. The entire world is grey, and this shows nature as a relentless force. Relentless means a continuing force, because when the world turns away from the sun, that is, the sunset is taking place, it is becoming colder, dark. Then also the nature keeps on with the process of its day-to-day procedures. The sun rises, sets, not bothered with what is happening all around in the world. Like here, I told you before also, this is the end of agriculturist society and coming up of the industries. So here the dregs, the word is dregs, winter dregs, refers to the end of the day and the setting of the sun. The fallen snow, the heavy fog are making the twilight, the dusk look desolate, dull, scary. And he also says that it's I, line says the weakening of eye of day, the weakening eye of day. Eye means sun. The light is fading out and it is making the dusk or the twilight very dull. And this entire landscape becomes totally deserted. So as you can see, the winter and the frost are bleak company. Bleak means something which is barren, grim. Are bleak company, and they are unable to arouse any sense of cheerfulness. This entire environment or whole environment is so depressing that the speaker is also becoming hopeless. He has no future. He's thinking about as if this is the finishing of everything, or you can say the end of his life. In the 5th and the 6th lines of the stanza, the poet has used a simile to compare tangled vine stems to strings of broken line. Now, what is vine stems? These are the stems of the shrubs, and because it is winter, they have become totally dry, thin. And here the poet is comparing these stems, climbing plant, because of winter season they have become dead. So he's comparing these plants with the broken strings of lyres. Lyres are U-shaped harp. It's a musical instrument, quite similar to a harp, and it's musical instrument. So here the poet wants to show that the stems of the climbing shrubs adds to the gloominess all around and reminds the speaker of strings of an old broken musical instrument notching the sky. Notching means marking. It's giving a very negative approach. The tangled stems are also reminder of summer, which has now come to an end, and the winter seems harsher and contract because it doesn't allow growth, doesn't allow too much of new beginnings. It's all frost, it's all snowy, so you don't find trees and plants and flowers growing in this kind of atmosphere or surroundings. Since the stringed instrument is broken, so there is no music and no sound, no happiness all around. And this suggests the bleak land. It's talk about showing a bleak landscape, a dull landscape. In fact, the broken lyres underlines, or you can say tries to signify, the absence of harmony, absence of joy in the speaker's vision of life. In the last two lines of the stanza, the speaker or the poet has presented a contrast between barren outdoors and the warm and inviting households. He says, no, and all mankind that haunted Ne had sought their households' fires. Here the speaker is outside on a barren or desolate landscape, while the rest of the world is comfortably sitting inside their house near the household fires, or you can say the fireplaces, making themselves warm. But then one thing is quite striking, that the people who are inside their houses, they also seem to have assumed ghostly quality. Even people seem listless and haunting. Listless means looking very dull, lacking energy, no enthusiasm. Inside their house, in all that warmth and all that coziness also, the people look very restless and they're looking haunting. And all this may be the surrounding outside or inside the houses. The atmosphere is only of dullness, desolate conditions, melancholic conditions. Now, when he talks about people being dull or listless, means their family ties, their relations among their own families, their own friends, their relatives are also very cold. Although it's very warm and cozy inside the house, but the relations are not energetic. That love, that affection is missing in the people. The world appears to be bleak, colorless, and cold place with a few memories of melody and warmth that have all now slowly and gradually vanishing away. There is no vibrancy in life or color. This is the first paragraph. The second paragraph says, the land's sharp features seemed to be the century's corpse outlined. His crept the cloudy canopy, the wind its death lament. The ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken, hard and dry, and every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. Now here, if you see the atmosphere and the surrounding, this winter which is described in the poem is in northern hemisphere. So winter in northern hemisphere is also the finishing time or the ending time of the year. Here it becomes even more meaningful as the end of the year in this case also marks the end of the century. The second stanza of the poem intensifies the speaker's perception, his thoughts, his belief of gloomy winter landscape in a series of metaphors which he has associated with death. So this entire paragraph is dealing with only negativity, dullness. The first metaphor is sharp outlines of winter landscape. Means it is so negative, it is so dull, it is not at all giving any opportunity of life or any hope of life. And he compares this winter as if a corpse is a dead body. And this is the corpse of the dying 19th century. The speaker has personified century. That is why if you see the letter C in the word centuries, it is capital. It has given human, it has been given human like characteristics. As if this century has come to an end. It is dead now and its dead body is lying out there. Crypt is burial place. Its dead body is lying in that crematory region, or you can say the cremation ground. and is left behind all alone, lying there on the land. Corpse out, lent means a dead body lying down all alone. Here the speaker is observing this, all this negativity. He is not able to bring not even a single ray of happiness in his mind, in his heart. The cloudy sky seems to the speaker as a canopy to this century's tomb. Canopy is a ornamental cloth which is put as a top on something. So he compares the sky as a canopy for this corpse of the century, which is a dead body. And then it says the wind, the sound of the wind, or the song of the wind which is going around, this winter wind, it seems like the song of death. The entire scene, if you visualize, he's standing on that coppice gate, that wooden gate. He is looking onto the woods and he's assuming this whole world is a dead body covered with that ghastly look of frost and snow. On top of it, you have the sky as a canopy, as a shed on it, and a shade on it, or you can say a cloth on it. And because this is so dull, this entire ambience is so depressing, so sad, full of sorrow feelings, the wind which is blowing, it seems the wind is also singing a sad song of death. Says no, the wind his death lament, sad song of death. And then he says the ancient pulse of germ and birth was shrunken, hard and dry. That is the 13 and the 14 lines where he refers that the seeds of spring, that is new opening, new life, have all shrunken hard and are dead. They have been reduced in size. They have become hard and dry during this winter season. The very processes of nature have come to stand still. And he has this thought in his mind that the next spring might not come ever. The dormant environment feeds the poet's brooding frame of mind. Brooding means it's trying to make him more and more sadder. He's becoming sadder. He's becoming more depressed. It's trying to overcome his thoughts, all his mind, all his, little bit optimist feelings, if he ever had, those also have come to an end. He's become totally pessimist about the condition. Pessimist means who doesn't have any positive thoughts. The last two lines of the stanza are about men, human being. They are referred as spirit. And every spirit upon earth seemed fervorless as I. Every spirit means every single human on planet earth seemed to have become totally without any passion. They are lacking in passion. No feeling, no attachment, no love, no intensity. The way the speaker has turned out to be. It seems that the speaker is not just hinting at the death of the old century. Hinting means he's pointing out that. But the death of pulse of life. He's not only talking about the death of the century. He's talking about the fact that the life has also come to an end. That vitalizes, or you can say that energizes people all around. And then And this scale of his pessimism increases as time passes by. The dull observations, what he's seeing all around, escalate to a despairing mindset. Escalate means increases rapidly. And they are pushing him towards a side where he has lost all his hope of getting a new future, a new spring, a new beginning again. And the poet only sees a world without promise of future. For him, this is the death of hope. Today, children, I'll be ending up here, and in the next part, I'll be taking the next two paragraphs. Till then, have a nice day and look after yourself.